everyone, welcome to another episode of Afrikanwatch Weekly Digest. On today's episode, we'll be discussing cybercrime and its effect on the younger generation. With me today, I have my co-host, the editor-in-chief of Afrikanwatch Network Communication, Mr. Mark Ogu. And here also we have another guest, Mr. Innocent Samuel, an IT expert that knows the ins and outs of cybersecurity and everything in between. Mr. Innocent, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Idera.
Thank you very much for coming. So, Mr. Mark, please, I would like you to take it from here.
No. You know, when we talk about cybercrime, it's something that has caused a lot of havoc for young people. You know, people have gone into this business or job, and at the end of the day, they end up in a very disastrous manner. So it is good that we're having Mr. Innocent, who is also our deputy online editor and also an IT expert, to share more light. Mr. Innocent, let's take it in this angle. You know, maybe for clarity purpose. You know, to educate our viewers. What do you think? You know, the meaning of cybercrime. You know, and the effects. You know, on the younger generation. What's your thought in a very simplistic form?
Okay. Thank you very much for that, for the question. Yeah, in cybercrime, when I talk about cybercrime, cybercrime simply, in a layman language, simply means getting unauthorized access into people's data or information on the net. So cybercrime come in different forms. It can take place. Some people commit cybercrime through the network security, and some of the things that makes cybercrime very, very deadly and very dangerous is is the vulnerability of some of the network setups which the organization or an individual have been set up. For instance, in the area of Facebook, you know, there was one terrible thing that happened in Facebook some years back. The Cambridge Analytica that took place in Facebook some years back, and during that time, they just hacked into people's Facebook accounts and extracted some information there and then use it for their awareness without the consent of the owners of the, and this caused Facebook as a people, as an organization, huge damage, because they were charged to court to why they should be given to a vulnerability of it without proper without the consent of their users, you know. So cybersecurity is one of those things that we must take it very serious, especially at this time. And the number of cybersecurity crime keep increasing every day in our society as technology grows. So.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Mr. Innocent. In Nigeria today, we are experiencing a lot of cyber crimes. Like you said, as the technology keeps growing, more criminals keep coming out because they gain this knowledge. Some of them even go to schools to learn this knowledge and use it as crime. What do you think we can use in preventing such?
Yeah, what can we use to prevent the cybercrime? I think the best tools for preventing cybercrime or any crime at all is through proper education. People should be well educated to why they do something and why they shouldn't do this particular thing, and the effects of when doing this way and when doing that. For instance, as a computer engineering student, while we're studying computer engineering, we are being taught both the bad and the good, but you are being advised that we should do the good part of it. We should be a solution solver. We should not be the problem creator. That both of them, whether you come in cybersecurity, both of them will fetch you money. But be the one that they will call after the issue the problem have been caused. Be the one that will call to come and fix that problem. And that one, the money you earn there will sustain you and last longer and give you dignity more than you being the person that will go and cause the problem. So it's always a two-way thing. That people should be properly be educated about the area of their career on what doing the right thing
because
at all times.
It comes with morals. It also comes with morals. Because when you teach a student, okay, this is the good part and this is the bad part, but at the end of the day, that student chooses to go the wrong way. It also comes with morals, don't you think so?
Yes, morals is one of those things that in our society today that we've taken it for granted, but it's inevitable in any area of life. Even in our society, morals is very, very important. But I feel sometimes very bad seeing that some of the morals and ethics of our culture is not being paid attention to, especially in our society today, sometimes in our schools, and without morals, I don't think the right morals, the right orientation, it becomes difficult to prevent young people from going into crime and doing the right thing.
Okay, let me come in here because I remember during the NSAS, there were a lot of companies that were. I think MTN was part of those where people were just getting recharge card anyhow, and then I also remember that some telecommunication organizations, DSTV, GoTV, I think they were all hacked. If I'm correct, people were just watching freely on air and so on and so forth. Then people were getting free recharge card. I even learned some people were even getting cash from banks. But the sites of those companies were hacked, so people have access to to do whatever you need to do, and people were cashing out and other. So could it be that the web developer of those organizations were not properly trained to see that high-tech hacker could have access to their information, and the public will begin to get benefits?
Well, it's not actually per se whether the website was not well, but for every website there is an architectural aspect of it, the front end and the back end. But aside that, the network in which the organization is being used to maintain and host their website also matters. So that is why in every organization they see some level of security, etc. That the head of the ICT or the head of ICT should be taken into consideration. They should not just go and bring someone who doesn't have idea in the area of database management and networking management to come and do that, because you bring a pure computer science to come and take care of data management, and at the same time person is also in charge of networking and everything. In the area of these professions there are some limitations and expertise, and you cannot know everything. So these are some of the things that some of our organization needs to really consider and take care. And then another area there has to do with cybercrime are being coming in different times. There are some of those information were leaked out by the organization. There's what they call in cybersecurity, what we call the middleman. There's what they call the middleman. The middleman, the spy, and different of them. The middleman has so many people within the organization that are leaking up information to the outsiders for the organization to have access to the information, say most times. So aspect.
So the issue of trust is very important here.
Yes, it's about the issue of trust. At the same time, putting the right parameters in place for the organization.
No. Let me come in here again. Because we hear. I don't want to. Okay, maybe let me even use the word Yahoo.
It's a common word for society today.
Because nobody wants to mention such but we know most of the guys are cashing out.
Yes, and it's also a key it's a key stuff for cybercrime in Nigeria. That's their major.
Yeah. Some guys are cashing out, and you begin to ask yourself that what kind of if I may use the word, probably it's not an intellectual artificial intelligence, because I don't see that as artificial intelligence. But if you want to look at it in the other way around, you begin to wonder how these guys are able to, get into people's data, convince them, and then they cash out. Sometimes it looks like magic. I want to throw light on that if you can.
No, yeah, it's not actually magic. The world has become a global village now, in such a way that it's very easy for us to get information in YouTube. You can get educated from YouTube and the rest of them. And I can tell you that these newer generations are more interested in the IC technology, and that is more reason why the government should be able to put all the things in place to ensure that they encourage these young people. Because in a situation, they say an idle hand is a devil workshop. So when the youth have gone, some of them have gone to school, and when they are coming out they have the mindset that they are coming out from school, there is no job for them. So they started this thing on time. Some of them do apprentice ahead. Then I finish school, or before I finish, some of them drop out to school to go and commit those crimes. But they fall in the umbrella of simply called Yahoo. It's a common. It's quite unfortunate that it's a common slang in our society.
But could that be a reason for somebody to commit crime, that you don't have something doing, and then could it be a basis for committing crime?
The crime as a whole and content is not to be encouraged at all. In our society, with every means needs to be condemned. And not being idle, is not an excuse to say that you are committing crime because you are idle. So, but at the same time, when people, they don't know their left from their right. That was why I first said it has to do with education. People to be properly educated and let them know the implications of what they are doing at the end of the day. So, for young people committing crime, in mostly like cybersecurity, as we are saying, it is not to be encouraged at all. But rather than there should be a proper education. In fact, some of our educational curriculum should be in direction of what the world is going to now. Because in the 21st century, the world keeps moving so fast that what you have learned three years ago or 4 years ago, may not be relevant in your field. So you had that learning and keep learning more. Not just about learning, but the proper ethics of learning and putting the proper mind to learn. It's also very, very important come to display now. So if our young people are there, some of them who are doing Yahoo have known the proper implications, that is the implications of what the crime they are committing. I don't think that somebody with his good orientation will really just want to go and commit a crime in our society.
Talking about Yahoo, we've even learned that some mothers, they now have an association of mothers, Mothers Association of Yahoo Boys. So don't you think that also applies to values and morals?
Yes, they say charity begins at home. Yes. I think with due respect to our parents, I believe that our society, our religious and our political and also our educational sectors, they really have to look into this, because in our society, while we're growing up still very young, the home bringing is also very, very important. Because these days we have some of our parents who give excuses of why they did not become who they are, and putting pressure on their children to go and bring what they did not be able to afford, and what they will not prepare them ahead that they can be able to afford, thereby making them to fast stretch. In the name of that, we are trying to provide for the family. We are trying to elevate our family. So that home bringing become very necessary and very important, that we should really look into.
If I can understand what you said here, you are trying to say the former generation has failed this generation.
Yes, we wouldn't say completely that the former generation had failed complete this generation, but well, I know that we still have some some of our parents who have actually transferred that discipline and
children.
morals to their children. So we cannot completely write off the older generation, you know, but you can only encourage them and the we who are coming up now to doing the right thing.
One thing that some of us have also learned over the years is that countries that are technologically inclined, over the years have built this intellectual capacity, passed over intellectual capacity from one generation to another, to the next, and to the next. Like China, even in the UX and other countries who are technologically inclined. Even Russia, you see, most of them are going to space. They are discovering, good value system, and then we are not saying the level of crime, cyber crime is not high there, but it seems in Africa here, we dwell too much on this cyber crime probably because lack of unemployment, lack of parental upbringing, and then the quick way to make money, and so on and so
peer
forth.
Pressure.
And of course peer pressures, coming from here and there. But could that be a reason for us not building more capacity? Making the people understand that you have to build value and capacity, and then from there you can earn money.
And build
Not
the nation
and build economic values too, because it seems these areas are actually missing, from this generation. Everybody wants to make quick money, want to cash out, drive the best car, cruise around, enjoy yourself. But to sit down to make this money is a problem, because you believe, once you sit down in 1 hour or maybe 3 hours in a system, you need to hack into people's data, you begin to chat them up, like what as alleged, Yahoo boys and so on. Because you have to prove that you have caught somebody. That's why we keep using as alleged. So could this be something to dwell much on, or should we dwelling more on capacity building and development?
Yes, because everything still boils down in the education. Growth does not happen overnight.
Yes.
Growth has a process, and it takes time. And that is why when a child is being born, it does not just start working immediately. There is a process. And our young people and our parents should be able to pass this information to us that growth does not occur overnight. That there is a process. Even as a nation, we cannot just wake up one day and want to be a developed nation and overnight. The technology that China has undergone, several like the MDGs, some of them follow along the line. Our country did not follow. That is why we are not getting to where we are today. So growth does not occur overnight. For you to be good at what you are doing, you must have taken the necessary discipline and the learning in line to where, in line to the profession, in line to what you are going to do, and or a career you have chosen to do. So everything still boils down to proper education and grooming at the same time, guiding the young people towards doing the right thing. So I don't necessarily think that it is because of the unemployment that is making young people go into the crime. But it still boils down at the end of the day back to our value system and our educational system. For instance, in our education when I was in school, we will find out that we form a particular group that were trying to build, making some technologies. Then we look out, we focus mainly in some practical work. But we find out that one of the challenges we were having there were availability of the materials for us to use, like the resistors, the transistors, and some of those things. They are not most of them are mostly not available here. There are some of the models, the Androno models that we may have to order it, and those things are bought in dollars. Before it will be shipping in here, it takes time. So the duration, so this thing was actually affecting us as young people. And that area, sometimes even when we are in the lab, we don't have light. So some of these things actually discourage and also affect some of us when we're in school, studying, especially in the aspect of technology students. Some of these are some of the things that affected us, and at the same time, some of us get frustrated, you know, and consider at the end of the day when they have come out from the school, they have not been able to achieve what they could have actually achieved in school, because the school, they only passed through the school did not pass through them. So I think it's our educational sector in the area of technology has to be given more priorities.
Well, we'll be talking with our online deputy editor, Innocent Samuel, who is also an IT expert. And but there's something here I want you to also look at critically. You know, have you thought of what you need to do to educate your immediate environment, or are you having the idea to organizing seminar and see how you can train people in the area of, in case your site is hacked, or there's a way you can go about it. Even WhatsApp, we understand that your WhatsApp can be hacked. Yes, your WhatsApp, your Facebook. How do you restore, your data back without having any? You don't need to go and look for an IT expert. What are those necessary steps that you just have to take quickly, to resolve those angles?
Yeah, if there is anything I love so much doing is the area of me trying to inform the people in my environment and train people in that direction of advising them in the direction of the technology and what they should do and what they should not do and how they can be protected while they are online there. I monthly organized cybersecurity trainings for some people online, those who have interest in that aspect. And this is why I organize that monthly. Sometimes we do 3-month program on cybersecurity trainings on the basic fundamentals. And then at the end of the class, we will now giving you some recommendation where you can go and study more, and also give you proper advice. In that sense of the part of training people, we get to understand that there are people who are much interested in learning the ICT, but who have been graduates from the way we have gone to school and studied different things. Then those people in that way, when they are coming to learn the profession, because we are teaching the professional aspect of it for them to be professional. So in that aspect, we'll find out that if you start from the professional aspect using those, you still have to bring them down to the ground, to the basics, so that you'll be able to carry them up to the level, so that they will be able to catch up. Because when you have knowledge, when along the line, when you face challenge, you will not be able to solve. You will now fall back to now. So the people need to understand the basics of ICT before wanting to go and do the professional course. I think this is very, very important aspect that our young people should also take note of. Because some people come because they say, cybersecurity, they are paying so much, they are high paying, they just want to come and do it because of the money. I always tell them, don't look at it, not about the money first. Get the right learning, build your foundation solid, then before you now think about that money.
Okay, thank you very much. I would like to throw in this last question. So do you think the government should invest in empowering young people to be empowered when it comes to ICT, technology, cybersecurity, and so on?
Yes. Like I said earlier, the world is fast growing now. In fact, technology is the future. Technology is now and the future. Whether we like it or not, it has come to stay. So what we encourage our government to do now, our government to go into our schooling system, the school syllabus, make the necessary adjustment, equip the lab, ensure that there's 24 hours electricity in the school to run those labs, because most schools have these facilities but they are not functioning. So it's a very important aspect that our educational system is being looked into, and ensure that those labs are functional. Our lab attendance and lab management should be properly be put in place, so that the young people there, those who are going to want to study this and come out, they will be trained as entrepreneurs. So by the time they come out, they can create employment for themselves if the government does not have employment. Because when you have a proper learning in the area of your career, when you come out there, You without employment, you can be able to be useful to yourself.
Yes. Just like Mr. Mark said earlier, in China, we understand that their kindergarten, they've given them special treatments. Like they do cooking classes, they do electronic classes, they do different kind of classes to empower them and build them up. So, do you think the government should also start from that level, or should take it to a higher ground?
And then finally, before you take his question, of course, I think we are almost rounding up of this show. You know, he has raised a very point too. And then, do you also think that from the background of the primary to secondary, and then before you talk about the tertiary education, do you think the government or even the traditional education that they should inculcate ICT from the grassroots?
Yes, the answer is a big yes. You know, there is what they call the goal. You know, if our goal is to become one of the top technology country in the world, then we should be able to put the right things in place. We should start. You know, when you train a child from small and if thing become part of a group, it's difficult for that particular thing to leave that child. So we have to inculcate that culture into our young people while they are growing. For instance, in China, some of the mobile phones we are using like this small light is people from JS3 that are producing and we are buying from them. Yes. And if you look at some of those Chinese, they do not have to go to higher school. Most of them, the higher education that they've acquired is just JS3. The primary school section. Why? Because they have been born into this system. The system is already in place for them. They play with this thing, they get used to it. So at that point in time, they will be able to create employment for themselves. So we know that I'd say somebody must go to university because before you become a self-employed or you become something like, it's not really applying in China. Why? Because you can be self-employed from what you have learned, the level that you're able to go in line. So it is a very important aspect that our government, private individual organization to really invest on, you know, to see that the future of young people and the future of Nigeria is bright.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've come to the end of this weekly digest. I've talked about, he has educated us on what cybersecurity is all about, what we need to do to prevent the hackers, because the more you prepare to prevent, the more the hacker was so inclined and increase their knowledge.
Yes.
So I believe we'll still have time to discuss, because this is very important. Everybody now, almost everybody now use smartphones. You know, you go to the internet, you see a lot of funny things online. You know, most Nigerians are online. You know, so we're still going to have time to discuss about this cybersecurity. My name is Mark Ogu, the editor-in-chief of Afrikanwatch, and I've been talking with our online deputy editor and an IT expert too, Mr. Innocent Samuel. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mark.
And I am Chidera, the head of news of Afrikanwatch. Thank you and have a lovely week.